Good morning, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well today. Getting ready to teach, but I want to go ahead and do another video. And thank you guys for all your great comments. And I will get to a lot of those. I'm going to try to. I'm getting so many comments that I have to kind of maybe split them up a little bit. I'll probably do that, but I don't want to waste a lot of time. Trying to go over a lot of that within and get away from the content. So I want to make sure that I do both well. So I'm going to try to do both well. But shout outs to everybody. We're over 1,000. That's great. Keep going. We'll keep getting subscribers and try to kind of keep getting the word out of how important this is. And I am very grateful and feel blessed that we can kind of get this off and running and doing a good job with it. So hope you guys enjoy the channel, and we'll continue to go ahead. Please always give me back feedback and help me kind of decide where we want to go next. Money Masord, number 7, thank you for your comment. I will talk about exercise soon and get into that a little bit as well. I did focus last week all on women's benefits. We're going to kind of go into some other areas a little bit this week. But thank you first for all the comments, the likes, the donations. I appreciate all those a great deal, and trying to make this channel the best channel we can. So, all right, so let's focus on 3 different areas, comments. I'm going to kind of put them together a little bit. So Mark made a comment, is semen retention a coincidence or real? In one of his comments. I'm going to focus on that one. I also want to kind of focus on the one that Braveheart 576 made, and he talks about this stuff is real, so I'm going to also talk about that. And then also DSM Tech said this is a lifestyle change, which we totally agree with. And Eduardo said choose the path. I'm going to kind of focus on all of these a little bit as we talk about this. So let's go back a little bit to why we do all this. And I know we've talked about women's attraction, but that's not the major reason. I think it's always interesting, especially when people are interested in this topic. And of course, they're going to be, men are going to be interested in women, and that's going to always be the case. And the reason we talk about that is because that is one of those noticeable benefits. But with that power comes great responsibility, because you don't want to, even though it's something new and it's hard to kind of maybe bring in sometimes because it's so different than the way life was, you have to also realize that the reason you're doing this and the reason why you're getting attraction is the fact that you are you're refraining. And so you're not going to go ahead and have intercourse with everybody. You're not going to go ahead and have relations with everybody. And so your purpose is much higher than that. It's a nice benefit. It's nice that you're able to kind of get female attraction and get people to appreciate you and get people to give you flattering comments, things like that. But the thing is that your purpose is higher than that. And we need to go back and look at this to actually kind of look at Mark's comments and Braveheart and DSM and Eduardo here. So we focus on this idea that, life becomes different. And this is why that there is something to this. This is not just a coincidence that all these things happen, that attraction happens, that focus happens, more energy, and even though there hasn't been a lot of scientific type studies done, people, for centuries have known, and especially in sports world, other types of world, that if you don't have sex and you hold your energy in, you're going to be a lot more aggressive. All you got to do is look at some of the history of Mike Tyson, who went for 5 years without, releasing, and he was a monster, in doing this. So the thing is that when you look at the idea, the whole key is saying, okay, how am I going to kind of focus on being the best person I can be? So in the whole key thing, the whole key, guys, is to look at this and realize that there is a reality here. And the reality is that if you focus on yourself and bettering yourself, in this situation, then you can help other people and you're going to become better. And self-control is one of those big things. Now, does semen retention by itself, make a difference? It does make a difference, as does Kendler's, and I think it's the Fountain of Youth exercises that I promised to go over one day when I get room in a house and I can sit down. I'll actually do the exercises. But I have shown you the book. I think there's a video on this in the past. But they can help as well. And all these things individually can help. But the bottom line really is that you're trying to do it as a purpose to become a better person, in my sense, get closer to God. And so all of this becomes a real reality, because what you're trying to do is become a better person. And so what ends up happening is that you see the benefits of all this when you start retaining. All of a sudden, your focus is way off on other goals. You're trying to get financial goals, you're trying to get spiritual goals, you're trying to accomplish things as you go through. And as you do that, you're able to kind of see that you can be very successful in all these type of things. And you build a habit of success. And as you build a habit of success, you become stronger and stronger. And as you retain more, you're also building a habit. I think I'm at 917 days of no FAP, and monk mode's about 140 or something like that. Those type of things are important, because as you build habits, this is how we grow. Any person, any kind of field of life will tell you it's all habit forming. I don't care. It's sitting and studying for a test. You're going over and over again of it. I don't care if it's practice in a football or a basketball or soccer type of game. You are, practicing day in, day in, day, so that when you get to a live event, you can actually perform. It doesn't matter if it's a musician. I don't care what you're talking about. All these type of things make a big difference. And so as you focus on this, the key is going to be, can I go ahead and perform the daily types of things and make sure that those things are something that I can perform well. And those things go back then to activities and habits you form. So when we talk about this, and we talk about the fact that, as Mark is saying, is this a myth or coincidence? Well, there's a lot of things that could be a coincidence. All of a sudden you're doing this and now you get women attraction. All of a sudden now you're getting some financial success because opportunities seem to come to you more. These things kind of go hand in hand. You could say they're a coincidence, but really the reality is that it started somewhere. It's almost like the chicken and the egg type of thing. Where does it start? Well, it first started with the fact that you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm not going to release. If I don't release, then all of a sudden I'm going to gain a level of self-control. And because of that, there's a physiological change that happened with me, that all of a sudden I did not feel the same sort of nervousness, depression. I was a lot more happier. And obviously then a lot of other things happened. Now, whether part of that is confidence or not, that's possible. It's possible some of it is confidence. Obviously, if you sit there and retain, but you don't do anything else, you're not going to have the same kind of effect. You've got to do something. You've got to transmute that energy. You've got to transmute activities, behaviors that are going to help you. And that's why I exercise, and that's why at 61 I'm taking cold showers, I'm taking green tea, I'm doing a number of things that I think augment and help this retention. And that's kind of the key to what we're talking about here. We're trying to look at a system of changing life. And this is why DSM Tech is right on target when he says this is a lifestyle change. You are looking to benefit yourself as a man and a woman. And so these are the types of things that can do it. Life should not be, in my opinion, just chasing around women if you're a man, or men if you're a woman, and just having sex with random people all the time. We see this more and more in our society, and all it really does is accomplishes nothing except wasting your energy. And you become drained. And then you see a lot of drained people out there. A lot of beta males and a lot of people who are drained. And when you see that, you recognize that those people really don't have that magnetism to accomplish anything, and you would not want to fight a battle with those guys. You're a warrior. You're not going to fight a battle with those people because they don't have the kind of level of energy, and you know that. You know when you sense a person who has that level of energy. You can see it. You can see it in them. And this is why you go ahead and say, this is something that's a lifestyle change. And so as we look at this, obviously we're talking about something that's, as Mark is saying, is it a coincidence or real? Well, it is real. There's a real aspect of this. Now, how far that goes into then transferring into, self-confidence and then bringing those things in. I mean, I could tell you after 57 years and just doing the Kendler exercises, and as a person who used to do scientific research, all the variables were very similar, but I accomplished nothing like this after 58 years. And it wasn't until 917 days ago, where I started making this as a lifestyle change. And yes, I've relapsed with monk mode. Those type of things happen. We all do that. But the thing is that you're looking at this not as one type, since we relapse, that happens. But this is a lifestyle change. Just think how much better you are if you just relapse once after 300 days, after 200 days, after 90 days, right? Than you would have been if you kept doing it 4 or 5 times a day. So you're getting better. And I think everything is a progression, building a habit. And that's why I wouldn't give up. I mean, I've gone back and forth so many times over the years, 45 years of it. So I know how difficult this is. But once you stick to it and say, okay, and then you're going to have your challenges, but you've got to stick with it. You got to say this overriding idea that this is a lifestyle change is really important. And so you have to choose a path, as Eduardo says. And he's correct. You got to choose a path. You're either going to retain and do this as a lifestyle change, or you're just going to kind of fake through it. Now, you may give verbal attention to it and say, okay, yeah, I should do that. You're right. That makes sense. But when it comes to reality, it's very difficult to do that. And so as we kind of think about this, we have to think to ourselves, what is the right path? We're all heading down that path, and we have like a fork in the road. Which way are you going to go? It took me until I was 58 years old to decide, okay, I'm going down this path now. I was heading in the middle, veering off back and forth, and now I'm in that way to go, right? Because I feel that this is real. These things that are happening are not a coincidence, because a coincidence would see something that would keep occurring over and over again. And this big change occurred when I started doing the retention. And these changes just occurred when the retention happened. And if I go back, obviously, I believe they're going to be eliminated. Or I think you have to start again. I don't think they'll be totally eliminated, obviously, but I think you're going to go back and have to start the process again. But I've done that so many times that I think that I see a big difference between the idea of starting the streak now and moving forward. So I know that out of habit, this is the right thing to do, at least for me. Each one of us got to make that choice. We got to go down that path. But it's not going to be easy, because if you've been doing this for a while, you realize that this is a habit you formed. And you got to try to break that habit any way you can by saying, okay, I'm stopping. But then you augment this and add to this by doing all these other things we're talking about. Okay? Choose the right path, right? And as Braveheart says, this is real. There is no doubt in my mind that this is real. And this is because it makes perfect sense. Because your natural ability should be as a male that's an aggressive, assertive male, as a beast. We call it a beast-like mentality. You have that beast-like mentality. We all do. And the idea then is to convey that to people. You can only do that if that's how you really are. Now, you're going to find the attraction comes from people, especially on the women's side, that they're going to go ahead and try to soothe that beast. So they're looking at this beast as a challenge. They may be a little scared of the beast, but they're also a little excited of the beast because they know that this beast, almost like the Beauty and the Beast analogy, which is a great one, that person is the woman wants to go ahead and soothe that beast. And as a result, the beast becomes a very popular type of figure, good or bad. This is why the bad boys are always somebody who's out there and people know, oh, I can save this bad boy. And this is why they become attracted. But a lot of times, the bad boy is the person who has that aggressive beast-like mentality, and that's natural. It's very hard to get that person to change unless they, in my opinion, they start losing their energy. And this is what you have to be careful of. Because if people can say, okay, I've soothed this beast or I stopped this beast, then all of a sudden, that's a notch in their belt, in their war belt. Okay? All right, so the whole thing is that all four of these comments make perfect sense to me, and I want to shout out to everybody. I think, Mark, you're right. The question is it a coincidence or real? I think that's a good question to ask. I think the whole idea is, as we look at this idea, is that you got to choose the right path, but you also have to realize that this stuff does have an impact. They used to always say you got to look at all the variables involved. Well, everything was the same with me, except for the fact that I tried this retention. And I was amazed. For many years, I didn't really think this was going to happen. I didn't believe in this. So why would I bother to try to do it? And so I didn't do it. I went back and forth. I didn't really believe in it. But I said at 58, I have no, it's a win. I don't have many, I may not have many years left. So I might as well try it, right? And I've been totally amazed. I have been unbelievably amazed, shocked that if I continued doing this, and of course, monk mode I did release, but as you look at this, if you continue on this path, you're only going to get stronger and stronger. But you also realize there's also consequences. Obviously, you're not going to be having intercourse with people all the time like you used to. And some people will miss that. So you have to kind of make that right choice. So I go back to Eduardo, actually correct. Thank you for your comment. And also saying that, you got to choose the right path. And the other thing is also a DSM Tech, it is lifestyle change. And I also want to shout out to Braveheart 756, and I think it's 756, oh, 770, I'm sorry, Braveheart 576, 576, and this stuff is real, and you're right. So Braveheart 576, you're correct, and I appreciate the comments that all four of you guys made, and I wanted to kind of bring it together in a video. So again, guys, in summary, we need to look at saying, okay, if you really kind of doubting this, just do a couple of experiments and just figure out what is different in your life since you started retaining, and see all the benefits that are different now than when you first started. As time goes on, you'll see those. So if you have any doubt, that's where to start. And of course, this is a real thing. Braveheart 576, you're exactly right. Shout out to you, my friend. And then DSM Tech, it is right, a lifestyle change. You've got to choose that right path. And shout out to Eduardo. So, all right, guys, enough for today. Hope you guys have a great day and continue to battle on. And guys, we need to continue to be those warriors. The beast-like mentality has to continue. We cannot let it go. There's too many things in the world happening where people are trying to demasculate people and make men weak, and that cannot happen. You got to keep strong. All right, God bless you guys. Have a great day. And remember, every day is a new day to a wise warrior. Battle on, my friends. Battle on.